For our last story tonight, let's stay with Africa. In Kenya, life seems to be returning back to normal. The protests have died down. The war against contentious tax plans is still on, though. At least in Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya, where residents are hissing in frustration over a new bill which proposes a so-called tax in the city. Now, even the word tax raises the hackles in Kenya. But this bill is being seen as catastrophic. And Nairobians had their claws out. Now, in case if you missed all of these puns there, we let the cat out of the bag. We're talking about a cat tax in Nairobi. That's what it's being called. Technically, it's not a tax. It is a feline levy for pet owners, so to speak. And how much is it? 200 Kenyan shillings. That's just about $1.50. That is the annual fee. But the anger is not about the money. It's about the extensive list of demands. Cat owners will have to register their pets, get an annual license, pay the $1.50, show proof of rabies vaccination, and keep their cats' behavior in check. Now, we all know how cats love taking instructions from humans. But Kenyan cats will have to make an exception because owners are expected to ensure that cats do not scream too much. They don't cry too much, don't disturb the peace of residents, and remain confined when they're on heat. This country faces political turmoil, fiscal troubles, high-level corruption, food insecurity, devastation from regular droughts and deluge, and yet this is Nairobi's big worry at the moment: cats on heat. It sounds bizarre, but the government remains undeterred. They want to keep the high population of cats in check. Nairobi's feline population is not known, but they really are everywhere, and they contribute to 2,000 deaths from rabies every year in the country. So the Nairobi County does have a point, but the residents are livid nonetheless. They had hoped for better cat welfare in the city. Instead, they may have to pay taxes. They were once burned with tax plans, now they are twice angry. And they're citing a number of problems. Critics say the law will be tough to enforce, too restrictive for cats, and involve a tedious process and costs, which will force many owners to abandon their pets. This will defeat the purpose of the bill. So will Nairobi go ahead with it? Well, we'll find out in a few weeks. But if they do choose to bell the cat and introduce this so-called cat tax bill, Kenya will join a hall of fame of weird tax collectors. Who else is part of this exclusive club? Well, it is a long list. Italy has what's called the sunshine tax. If you want to dine under the Italian sun, you must pay an additional fee. That is the tax. Canada has a vacant home tax. If you underuse your house, you must pay extra for it. Meanwhile, Denmark plans to tax burps. Don't worry, not human burps, otherwise some people would be heavily charged. You know who you are. But this will be a cow flatulence tax to curb methane emissions from cows. It will be imposed from 2030, so that's a weird tax of the future. What about the past? In the 18th century, Russia had a beard tax, where men had to pay a tax to keep their facial hair. 17th through 19th centuries, England, France, and Ireland had a window tax. The greater the number of windows, the higher the tax. To avoid it, people began bricking up their windows, which is why many old homes in Europe still have this twisted aesthetic. Now, that is one way to deal with taxes: shut the world out. But I guess today we can try laughing away the misery, because all taxes are painful, but some are also absurd.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for a future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can we expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. For the first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Eric Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.